好，各位网友朋友，大家好。
Hello, everyone, our friends
好，
online.
今天我们是接着讲金菩提家
Today
训
we'll
第17
continue
篇。
to talk about
这一篇的名字
Grandmaster
呢
JinBodhi's
叫
family
八风
precepts.
吹不动。
And the topic of today's
对很多
today's
青年的网友
teaching
来
is
说呢
about the 8 worldly
听了这个
winds
八风
cannot
吹不
move
动
you.
会
Our
可能有点
young
陌生。
friends would probably
大约呢其实就
you
是
probably haven't heard about the
对
8 worldly
这
winds.
个环境或者他人带给你的
It's about the
这个
influence
四种
from the environment. Either it is a praise or,
是
you know, or ill
修理你
repute,
的指责你
or
的
maybe
挡你闲话的
maybe
让你
it's
受苦
praise and
大概就是
ridicule,
四种
it's
好
sorrow
四种
or
坏
happiness. So 4 of them are good and 4 of them are not good.
那大约
And
的文字来说就是
So it's
利
in words, it
衰
said gain and loss,
毁誉
ill repute
称
and
讥
good
苦恶
repute, praise and ridicule,
那这个
sorrow
这些
and
内容呢
happiness.
我们慢慢的再去
The details of the contact we can
先讲一个故
later
事
we will
这个
probably
故事呢
go
就叫
further.
做
First, I'll
公牛
tell
的
you a
故事
story. It's a story about a bull.
这有些朋友说为啥不是母牛呢？
Why it's not a
是有
cow,
公牛
maybe
的
you
原
say.
因。
Well, there's a reason there.
这个话说呢，这
So
个有一只年龄有点大，
once upon a time,
进了退
there
休
was
之年的狮子
a senior bull that is about to retire, probably after 60 years old. And he is already very old and cannot run anymore and not handsome
这
anymore.
个威武劲儿也
His
减少
fur
了很
is
多
not
倍
shining and it's not
连
very,
狗见了它都不怕。
you know, not very
可是呢，有一天
vigorous.
他
And
已经
even the
叫
dogs are
3
not
天
afraid of
没有
him.
吃到东西了。
And one day he hasn't eat for 3 days, and because he couldn't run and he couldn't find
人
his
饿得头昏
predators,
眼花呀，
and
再加
so
上血压也有点偏高。
he was kind
真
of
是走路
dizzy
都艰难。
and even hard to
他
walk.
有一天呢，
And one day
哎，他眼睁睁的看到
he
一头牛
saw a
哦，他已经饿了
cow.
3天了。
He already
虽然眼花血
has
压高，但是
been
还是
very
自然的 就会自然
hungry,
地
you know,
慢慢地
starving for
靠
3
近
days, and then he tried
因为
to
过去这些牛
get
是很
closer
捕
to
猎
the
的
bow.
这等于是
The
口
bull,
中的食物呀。
they used to be
等他慢
his
慢靠近的时候，
predator.
看着这只牛好
And then
好肥壮，原
he
来是一
saw
只
that
大
the
公
bull
牛。
is very,
这个公牛和母牛的
heavy
这个
and
身体的
big.
差异呢，
You
除了
know,
性
the
别
bull
差异
and
之
the
外，
cow
就是通常是
not only has a
身体非常健
difference
壮。
in their, you know,
它
their
这个
male
拉
and
车能
female,
力或者是
but the bull
用
are
头
much
顶中这种能
stronger
力都很
and
具有杀伤力。
so strong
我
to
们在一
to
些视频
fight
上不难看
and
到哈，
with his
就是
head.
当这个牛这个
And he has a
一
lot
旦
of
发挥
strength
它
to
的
pull
威
the
武之后
cart.
哈，能把一只狮
Sometimes
子
in
扯
a
得甩起来。
in a movie we can
对，
see
才
that
能够
when
激
they are
发出
very when
可以
they're
像人呢，好像在
irritated,
这
they
个西
could
班牙
even
这个斗牛节
kick
的时候啊，
off
就被这个
or
大公
maybe
牛那个脚一
beat
挑了就在空中一
a
甩，
lion and use his
运气差点
head.
就会一下给挑死，
And
打到心脏啊，或者把
if
肝
he
给杀坏
suddenly
了呀，再加上他顶的
yeah
那个力量哈，会把你内脏给
kick
挤
you maybe if
Because
it's
警力有上
suddenly
千
hit
斤，对吧？
your head your heart,
那人打你一
maybe
拳呢才几十斤，
that person might be killed
跟一部车
and
撞
threw
了。
away far away,
真的
and
好
it's
不容易。
like
所以狮子
and
有时候
so
也是很畏惧
sometimes
这个大公牛
lions,
那么
that's why they can
何
even
况
be
这是一
afraid
只老
of
的狮
bull,
子，
and especially because
对，
this
年老
lion
体
is
衰，
very
跑不动，
old, very
甚至咬不动，捉不住，
exhausted
没力
too
气。
and hungry.
所以看着
And
这个一头大公牛之后啊，
and when
哎呀，
he
这
saw
感
that
觉如果
bull,
追肯定追不上，
he
因为
thought,
他
oh,
不是没
I
追过东西，
cannot
总是追不上。
chase him.
他又想，
And
要不
then
就
he
饿死
thought,
了，
but
所
if
以
I
呢，他
don't
就
catch
这个时候
him,
他就动
he
身发
would
招，
he would
他就把
probably
这个心
starve to
心理
death.
先调
And
整
so
好了，
he needs
变
to
得像
use
一个
some
文明的
tricks.
正在
And
散
so
步的
he
文雅
pretend
的
that
先生一
he
样，
was a
慢
very
慢条斯理地溜
nice
达过来。
gentleman and
说：“哎呀，
slowly
牛
walked
先生啊，
over and he said,
哎，
Mr. Bull,
哎呀，我好崇拜你。
I admire
你
you
看
so
你
much. Look at
那个
you. You have such handsome eyes, so bright, charming. All the cows would love you, even me. I'm a lion. I love you so much. And let alone those lions. You look at your shoulders, so wide. You can shoulder all the whole forest. And look at your feet. They're so strong. And even, when you run, even the deers cannot catch up. You're such an attractive and charming ball. The only thing is that your big feet actually affects your grace and your beauty. And it's actually the only thing that affects you is your horn. If you do not have the horn, then you're like perfectly handsome and beautiful. Well, I'm just randomly talking to you, and so he walked away, and then he looked at the ball and see what the ball would do. And this bull was praised, and his blood pressure all of a sudden goes so high almost, because with all these praise, he didn't know what to do. But in order for him to be even more perfect, he made up his mind and broke his horn on the stone. On a big rock, actually. And then this bull was thinking, see, now I'm the best one. I'm the most handsome. And all the cows in the forest will rush to me. I'm the star of the forest. And while he was still enjoying, that old senior lion rushed out and bite his neck. And this, well, he used to be very strong, but now he became the dinner of that old lion. So, well, this story is very interesting. So I'm going to tell you what the 8 worldly wings are. First is gain, and it also has the meaning of success. So anything with benefit that can help you to succeed. And everybody wants to succeed. Your life will be successful, your studies and learning would be successful, you have success in your exams, and including have more money. That's another benefit. So in Chinese, it can has many explanations, including also power, including authority. And shui means loss, means decline, means go down. And hui actually means slander or ill repute. And yu means good repute. It's a good reputation. And cheng means praise. Say good words about them. And ji means ridicule or say something bad about that person, even though they don't have money, and then say, so you can say it's sarcastic or irony, and then ku means sorrow or suffering, and say illness is a suffering, and bitterness too, like if the taste is bitter. And le means happy, and so it's the opposite of suffering. So the 8 worldly wings are the 8 aspects. Why do we call it a wind? Wind, it's not permanent. It's something that you feel, you sense. It's not like an animal or a person. It's an existence, but these are just a feeling or a perception. And it's invisible, but it will bring you some feelings. And more seriously, it could even cause some even more splendid or more miserable results. If we praise very directly, either or slander, then it would be very easy to see and feel. Even though this person is very short and you say, oh, you're so handsome and beautiful, then you would think, oh, that's not true. And for a poor person, if you say, oh, you're very rich, then it's not real. It sounds very sarcastic, and then you would know it. And today, we're going to talk about something that you may recognize or may not. And so we will learn how to understand the 8 worldly wings in order to learn how to, tell good people from bad and understand the truth of happenings. And so we learn to distinguish and the good and bad. Before we talk about the following contents, I'd like to warn you that maybe you have a lot of questions. So when somebody praises us, say for example, your child is only 2 or 3 years old. When he was eating, he broke the bowl. The parent or the caregiver, like a nanny or the teacher, if they praise him, he said, oh, my child, the sound of the broke is so, wonderful. I have lots of money. I can buy another bowl for you. So I'd like to ask you whether it's the right thing to do. Oh, Christine? Oh, Master, it's very hard to imagine why the mother would say that. Oh, because of love? Well, the child would not feel that he did something terrible or not something wrong. Well, when he broke something and he got even encouragement, is she encouraging? Do you know? Spoil will cause a misunderstanding of whatever you do is right. So when somebody is spoiling, and that will make people even stupid or ignorant, and say, well, you like something. Anybody here, you like something? Well, you can. Well, suppose you like something. Let me see what will happen. Okay, say, oh, you like chocolate. Oh, okay. Joyce said you like chocolate. I don't know chocolate. I don't like chocolate, but I believe in this world, there any commodities, when it's on the market, then they will have different levels about their price, about where their origin is, where they come from. So the cheaper chocolates for a regular size, it would be like 10 cents, or maybe in some countries would be 5 cents. And for some reason, maybe they would say this chocolate costs $1,000 US. Do you believe that? Oh, Joyce said probably. And you should say, actually, definitely there will be. And it's not the most expensive, because in New York I saw ice cream. I know that they a kind of ice cream that they sell. They sometimes will spray some chocolate and some gold spraying on it. And it's like 200 something US dollars. And that's a long time ago. Once we went to Indonesia, to Bali, many people has been there before if they like to tour the world. And then we went to a place where they sell coffee. But they have a very disgusting name for the coffee. It's the shit of the cat. But you see, they use such a name, but for something that you're putting in your mouth. And that bag of coffee would be at least 10 US dollars. So just see, it's so precious. And when they told you it's so, precious, then you're thinking, oh, that's true. It's very, very good coffee. But if you bring it to London or Paris, it could be maybe 80 US dollars. And it's just a small bag of coffee, just enough for 1 cup of coffee, okay? I think I searched online and it's about like $30 per bag. And they say, oh, it's from that mountain in that environment. Then they have planted this and got this chocolate, and so this chocolate is this expensive. And so even for chocolate, they can range from very low price to very high price. And so when you like something, that's coming back to coffee or chocolate, when you like it so much, especially for lovers, if they go if they tour to maybe a beach, and there's firewood, and the girl is very beautiful, and then the girl say, oh, I like this fireworks. Well, for a senior, from the countryside, an old man from countryside, maybe it's $1. But for this beautiful lady, maybe it's $10 each. And then the man would think, oh no, it's so expensive. But he needs to satisfy whatever the girl wants. And so he didn't even dare to bargain. And even if he bargained, then this person would say, no, well, that's the price. You want it or not? And so this is a little similar to that kind of spoil. Well, earlier or later, this girl will have to pay the bill herself. But the spoil from the parent towards the children, you can hardly distinguish whether it's right or wrong. Say, for example, in that example of broken the bowl, it's a very wealthy family. Oh, you have a nanny. Well, I'm not going to hit your child. I'll put a stack of balls there so that he can break. And that's why some young friends at the age of 18, they can drive in Vancouver once. This young man said, oh, he already has been admitted to a university, but he doesn't want to go because he feels like meaningless to go there because he feels it's very boring. And then the mother almost would kneel down in front of the young man. And then the young man said, okay, if you want me to go to the university, you have to satisfy some conditions. And so he said, oh, you need to buy a BMW. And so that young man that I know, his mother did bought a BMW. But after a year, his boy passed away. And then the mother really regretted it because she thought, oh, it's all because she bought the racing car, and then the father almost would like to divorce the mother. And so he said, why did you buy that racing car? And then the mother said, well, if I don't buy, he won't go to the university. And so she said, how would I know that this would kill him? And so spoil has no reason. And so they're never wise in a spoiling situation. And therefore, for the 8 worldly wings, we're talking about something, well, seemingly good. When we're dealing with people, whether it's with a friend at school or in a company, or what kind of friend do you like? I believe everybody would like to find a friend, someone who would always support my opinion, and always stand on my side, and even he would admire me. And then we're good friends. We're good, like brothers or sisters. And usually you would refuse or push away those people who always point out my shortcomings, and if they criticize. And then whether man or woman, they would feel bad and will be angry. If you say, well, if you say, oh, what you said is so real, so true. Yes, it's very reasonable. You're so knowledgeable. I admire you so much. Everybody, when they hear this, they would feel very, comfortable, and then will lose wisdom, and including that bull. But young people, if they hear this too much, they can go, insane. Any kind of these worldly winds can harm you, and they are actually very harmful. So let's gradually distinguish. So the spoil in itself, from my understanding, if you do preserved vegetables, whether it's from turnips or cabbage, as long as you put them into the preserved pot, after a month, they're all the same taste. It's only salty. If you put more vinegar or lemon, then it will be sour. And some fruits, if you want to preserve them, in the past they don't have freezers, so they would make them dried fruit. And in Beijing and Suzhou, they are very good at that. And then you think, oh, it's very sweet. It's very like a sweet preserved fruit. People who like those sweet taste, then they like it. Actually, whatever you put with the sugar, it would turn very, very sweet. And then it becomes too sweet. And that actually will harm you. And then it doesn't taste peach or pear or any other fruit anymore. It tastes exactly the same as very, very sweet stuff. So overindulge is actually devastate. But this, when they spoil someone or overindulge, it's all because of love. Because you like chocolate, you like candies, whatever, holidays or something, I always buy chocolate for you. And you like ice cream. Then whenever I see you, I'll buy ice cream. I don't care if you would have stomachache or what. And so that's spoil and overindulge. It looks like they are trying to bring you something nice, but I don't know, it's not. A more rational love should be something like, in the Qing dynasty, those royal family, how the emperors would, teach their children. From Kangxi Emperor, every day he would get up at latest 5 a.m. or even earlier.
就开始要
And
可
then
能是先有他的具体程序我不知道
I don't know
起来是不是先
what he
背
would
诵
do
课文
exactly after that.
还是
Maybe
先
he
念
would
文
read
这样
first,
文武
or
要
maybe
双全。因为在
do
古代
martial arts first, because
这
in
不
the
要说你
ancient
能不能
times,
是骑马打仗最少说你不
whether
论做任何
well
事情
they need
你
to
要有
do
一个好身
both.
体
At least
所以
they need
皇
to
帝要
have
求所有
good
的臣
health,
子
and so
他有
the
两种
empress
老师
would ask
两
all
个
his
种类的老
sons.
师
He has
一个是
two
文
kinds of
化
teachers.
课的
One
老
is
师
for
文化课老师
teaching
肯定有的
knowledge.
课
And maybe he
然后
has
再
even
接下来
5 or
呢
6
就是
teachers for
武兵类
knowledge.
的兵
And
法类
then
的老师
he would, they
除了
would
学
also
武
have
功
teachers for teaching
在
them
陆地上怎么
martial
样练
arts.
功
And
击拳
not
打
only
拳
on the
踢
ground,
腿 舞刀弄枪
using
还
different
能可以
kinds
骑
of
着马去
tools,
打仗
knives
所以
and
所有的
sword.
皇子
And they
除了
also would
残疾
need
之
to
外
learn
都
on the
要能够上
horse
马
how to fight. And
就是
so
上马
all
能
these
征
emperor's
沙
sons, they would be able to
下
fight
马
on the
能
horse.
治国
When they come
有
down from
文
the
武
horse, they would be
全才的
able
孩
to
子
manage the country.
才
So
可能能
this
够统
child
领
needs to be
上
good
亿
at
人
both.
口的一个国家
And when he grew
那
up,
么
he
全世界
would
最大的国家的
gradually
国土
develop into someone
对吧
who can manage
那
a
全
big
国人能
country
人多了
with
所以
millions of
皇帝
people.
有这样的危机感
And
说如果我的孩
because
子
in
都是
the
笨蛋的
whole
话根
country,
本
there
没
will
法
be
统
many
领
capable
就
people.
是
If
认
they
真
are
读书
not very
都
good at
不一定
that,
能够
how can
统
they
领得了
manage
这
the
么大
country?
的一个国
Even
家
if
什么
they
厉害人
work
都有
very hard, it
对
would
不对
still be hard
所
for
以
them
你
to
不
manage the
好好去
country,
修炼你的
let
孩子
alone
的
if
话
they don't work
孩子
hard.
到那一
And
刻
so
可
if you
能
do
只
not
要是
train
在
your
知识
child
上
very well,
对
then
全家
they
对
either
甚至
will
是你的
fail
酒
or
壶都被杀光
this
是
emperor's
这样
child
的
will
一个
either
残酷的结
fail
果
or
所以
even be
老皇
killed.
帝要
And
求
so
他
that
的
could be a very
孩子
terrible
皇孙
result.
等
And
等
that's
的
why
一定要都是
the
走过这样
emperor
的路
would
径
always
就是
train
生了女孩
their
都
sons
要
to
学
be
习
like
文化
this.
课要知
And
书达理
even their
才
daughters,
能知
they
会
would
事
teach them
在皇宫的女
all
士都要学
knowledge.
习养蚕
And they
纺
would
织织
also
布染
learn
布裁
how
剪
to
绣花
weave
这
the
些也都要
cloth
学
and
还有
embroidery.
读书写字
And
很多那个书法都是非常棒的
also
皇宫的孩子可能那
they
个
they
书
need
法
to
现在
learn
来看简直像字写一样那
silkworm
么好
breeding,
可是是
and
那
then
么
they
好
are very good at calligraphy
特别棒
too. A lot of the
因为他们知道
the girls
得到这
in
个
the royal
江山
family,
以及
they are
治理这
very
个
good
国
at
家的难度
calligraphy
有多大
because they all
每
know
他们
how hard it
皇帝
is
都
to
从10几岁投到
become
了
emperor and to
学书法
manage
好
the
这个国
country.
家何况你
And
不学东西呢
so
那
they
么
work
一个
so
皇帝
hard,
是这
it's
么做
still
那我
that
们的百姓
I
是这
mean
么做呢
hard to manage. For an
我觉
emperor,
得
it's
你
like
们觉
this.
得呢
How
百姓
about
会不会这么做呀
every ordinary person? And well, Joyce
百姓
and
会这么做
Christine, what do you think? So, you know, the subordinates, they
不会
would even work harder. No. Well, Christine said maybe
百
they
姓
don't
呢他不像
understand
一个
this.
国家一个
They
皇权
are not
那样
like
就是他
those
不
royal
懂
family. They
他的那些
don't
所有的
know
文臣武将
that
那些有
all
智慧的
these
人全部集中在
ministers,
皇帝附近
they are
他们都会
knowledgeable
告
people
诉
are
你你应该
all
去这样干
around the emperor, and they
知道
would,
吗
you
会
know,
告
all
诉
these
他国家
ministers
管
very
理者
knowledgeable. They would
所以
tell the emperor,
皇帝
you need
才
to
会有这么
train
完善
them
的
like
对
this, and you
孩子
need to
教育
manage
的
the
这样
country
综
like
合
that.
性的
That's why
思
the
考
emperor
而
would
普
have
通
a
百
very
姓的
comprehensive
考虑不
training
了这么多
plan for their children. But
没有那么
ordinary
高的
people,
思想境界
they do not have that comprehensive understanding, so they don't train like that. And so they probably will just, you know, do some business, or, and if they have some money, then they want their children to enjoy more instead of,
所以我
you
们
know, have a
俗人
hard
之
life.
俗就在
And
于
so
我们没有
that's
站
why
在
we're
那么
ordinary
高的一
people,
个位
because
置
we're not
没有站在一
putting
个皇
ourselves
帝的
on a
总统的
higher
那个高度的位置
perspective. We haven't put
看整
ourselves
个
on
的
the
全
perspective
局
of an emperor to look at the
对不对
big picture.
那你如果作为一个
And
普通的
if
商人
you are
你的
just
见
an
识
ordinary
还有你
merchant,
娶的太太的
your
见识你一
your
个普通的商
opinion
人
and
娶的太太
your wife's
娶
opinion,
的
you
什么样
know,
的太太你来说
usually an ordinary
可能就是
merchant,
有
what
点
kind of
姿色
wife would he
年龄
have?
小一点
Maybe
皮肤白一
kind
些
of pretty,
可能会
and
认识几个
maybe
字
skin
2
is
3个字而
smooth
已
and
你懂得治国之道吗
maybe learn a little
你
bit.
懂得君君臣
would he know about how to manage the army or the country? Do you know? Well, you don't know any of those. How can you have that high perspective to train your child to to read, to learn the knowledge, and to to fight on a horse. And you would probably never imagine. So normal people would think, oh, don't let them work too hard, don't exhaust them. We have money, don't worry. And so when the father, they have some money, in order for their children to, not have to work too hard and not have to suffer from poverty, they've never thought about, a lot of hard work. And say, for example, you get married at 20 years old, and if you only get a child at 40 years old, do you even have time to train them to, fight on a horse? If they finally have the son, it's like so precious for them. It's almost like finally they got an alien. It's like that. Well, just an analogy for like having such a precious son. And so they would love him so much, and they had been waiting anxiously for a son, and finally they got him, and so they would spoil the child. And then the result is that they are actually devastating the child. When we are pouring that love towards the child, because we didn't have the wisdom and not that high perspective. And most parents, you probably have never thought how, overindulge would harm the child. They just spoil and overindulge. They just love and love. As long as they love, they think, all the religious teaching is about compassion and love, and so that's good. But you know what? When you eat anything, if you take too much salt or too much candy or sugar, it's all harmful. And therefore, the ordinary families, they don't have that wise perspective. In those ancient times, the emperors has all the power. The empress doesn't have any right to say anything. And even if he has a concubine, say concubine Li, her son, concubine Li's son, will give to another concubine to bring up. And then, so in the Han Dynasty, they don't let their own mother to bring up their own child. It's because they don't want their mother to spoil the child. Nowadays, men and women are equal, and in this legal society, we would say, oh, if you don't allow the mother to look after the child, you're depriving mother the right of loving their child. But in those times, they do this because they want the child to become a strong and capable person, to be able to endure with hardship, and they can do a lot of big things, and his whole life can be accomplishing. Whether Chinese people or from other countries, I think it should be similar. Well, Master, you talked about educating and training the children. This is a good warning for our parents, so we could not excessively love the child. So we need to be more rational. In my, childhood, when I was a student, I remember I have a classmate. His parents are highly educated, professors of the university, and therefore he used to be very, very good at school. And whatever he can be the first three of the class, but he's not satisfied if he's only the first three. He wants to be the first one. And therefore, the teachers and everybody would always praise him and say, wow, look at him. He's very intelligent, but he's still very diligent, works very hard. And everybody would praise him, and people would always think that he's very perfect. But once he was not the first 3, he was number 5. And ever since then, he was very sad. We all know, number 5, it's already pretty good for us. But for him, he was very sad. He couldn't even bear it. He feels it's a big failure. And because he's already used to the praise, he can not even have one setback. So he was very fragile. Well, other children of us, you see, we didn't notice his change. And after 1 year, he quit from school. Why? It was because he started to be depressed and he starts to deny himself. It's just because only once he had his marks was number 5, and for such a good student, he can only accept praise. He cannot handle any, challenge. It's like he has no immune system at all. He can only accept the best. He couldn't even accept number 5. And so I found, there was a teacher once said, we usually like these good students, but overpraise, and especially when they are still building their mind, these praise are like the candies, and they weakened his mind. And well, you said it's his marks, right? So too much praise actually harmed him. And I know also some girls are very pretty because they are really very pretty. And so wherever they go, they'll always be praised. Wow, you're so beautiful. I know some girls like this. And I know a lot of these girls are not very good at school and studies because they think that the beauty is the most important. With beauty, I have the whole world. They would think like that, and therefore they're called vase for flowers. Well, why they call them vase is because, the vase is very beautiful, but it's empty inside. And that means that they don't have any knowledge inside. And so too much praise, sometimes some children would be completely harmed. And some very excellent students, when they graduate from school, when they start working in the society, there's a big portion of them will kind of go down because in the actual society, it's not a comparison of only the marks in school. There are many aspects. In school, only the marks, it becomes the only thing when you compare. But when you start to work and go to the real society, you found that human's intelligence has many different aspects. It doesn't mean that good marks doesn't mean everything. Some people are not very good at school, but they are very good at sales. And some maybe are normal in school, but they are very good at business. And some people, maybe they are from the best management school, but they probably cannot manage a company well. So those marks doesn't represent their true ability. But, of course, the marks is a kind of ability in itself, but it doesn't represent everything. So the marks in your exam, I would say, only would represent 1/3 of your ability. And, I'm one of that example. So the ones who doesn't have good marks may still be successful in the future. And so sometimes those things that praise you and bring you good feelings, say for example, somebody bring a lot of food and then they feed the fish in the pond continuously. What are they doing? They want to feed the fish so that fish will grow and then they can sell the fish so that they can make money. A lot of farmers, they give a lot of food to the chicken. It's for the chicken to give eggs and then they can sell the chickens. Well, some chickens will say, no, they just love me, so that's why they give me food. And they look at their eyes, they really love me. And if you see 100 hens and one cock, well, the cock will tell the hens, if you do not give eggs for 2 weeks, and then this hen turn into roast chicken, and then he would never be able to give eggs anymore. And then this farm has also pigs and cows and sheep. And one day the dog was very angry. And he said to the pig, you see, Piglet, it's unfair. We all live in the farmer's family, right? But it's unfair. Most of the time, if there's some work, they always ask me to help and to be the guard. Look at you, pig. You never ask you to do anything, but they give you 4 or 5 times of food to you. So I'm sure that the owner is really unfair. But then the piglet said, after a few months, you know why. Do you understand? After a few months, what would be the result for the piglet? If you don't know, then you can buy a book. And then you'll know what will happen. And so if you go to the pond or even the ocean side to go fishing, usually when you go fishing, you always want to bring some worm or something that the fish really like. Or sometimes, maybe a locust or something. They want to find that worm that the fish would love most, and then they will throw the food to the ocean. What's the purpose? It's for catching the fish. At the beginning, when I came to Vancouver, there was a young boy. On weekends he bought a cage for catching crabs, and so he wanted to show me how he can catch the crab. So we went to the woods, and then there was a bay there. There are lots of crabs there, and so he bought some chicken legs, and then he tied some chicken legs as the bait, and then he threw that cage out into the ocean, and then he sat there to read. After an hour, he would he see if the cage becomes heavier, and he asked me to try. I say, yeah, it's heavier, and if I pull the thread, I can feel some movements. And then at the end, we pull them up. There are a dozen crabs. Some crabs were very frightened when they were pulled up. They were like, oh no, how come it's out of the ocean? And some silly crabs are still working on the chicken leg. And even they're facing death, they're still eating that chicken leg. Oh no. 捉鱼的叫渔猎， You know, they have those fishing or they have hunting. And so when they hunt for animals, the best way to hunt animals is not directly kill animals. In ancient times, before they have the arrows and so they would, in ancient times, what they do is that they would dig out a hole as the trap, and then they would, they would have a very deep, maybe 2 meters deep hole, and then on top of it, they would put some, some sticks and some mud, and then above the mud, then they would put some good food. The animals, when they are hungry, they're very good at smelling. So when they smell the good food, they come here and then they would drop into the trap. And so in ancient times, when they don't have many tools, they use this way to entice the animals to come. And so you see, they'll have to pay a little bit cost, like the chicken leg or some kind of bait or some meat or worm. And I saw those people, in my childhood, I saw them how to catch those birds. The sparrows, and so they would on the ground they would put some food there, some grain, and then they would have a net above the food, the grains, and then they have a thread holding the net. A lot of birds, they see that, and they can feel, they have intuition, they know that this is dangerous, but they dare not come, but they are too hungry. And so maybe there will be one bird coming. They see that there's nothing happened. And so there will be more birds coming. And when there are lots of birds coming, then the child would lose the rope, and so the net will come down. And that's how they catch the birds. So they already designed a plan and have the trap waiting for the predators. And when there was the trap, even human beings, if they have already disguised the trap very well, then human beings can also drop into the trap. If it's very well disguised, then it can also have the same effect in some small battles. And they sometimes use these kind of tricks too, a trap or something. And so that's why they use very small price to get a much bigger benefit. So whenever they do this trap and kill. Okay, Christine. Oh, Master, when you talk about the stories about nature, and when you're talking about, the nature's law, those fish, they can't help going to the worms, and those animals, they look very strong, but they also have some meat that they really like, or small animals that they really like, and then those meat will become the bait to entice and lure the big strong animal to come, and so they can catch them and trap them. And it feels that human beings are more very logic, but in our actual society, do we have the wisdom or even the virtue to distinguish, oh, this is lust, this is greed, and this is fame? They can trap me, and they can entice me. It's actually dangerous. Well, if I think of that, I feel it's very dangerous. Yes, that's very good. I'm going to talk more about it. Next, I'm going to tell a story about the Black Widow. Well, this lady is actually not pretty at all. Before we tell her story, let's do a very interesting advertisement. Jezhen, Joyce. Well, this advertisement is to tell our friends on Facebook. Well, recently on Facebook and YouTube, we can learn a lot of teachings from Master, and we can receive a lot of blessings and healings, and we benefit a lot online. And so our fans on Facebook, I hope, please go to YouTube and also subscribe to Grandmaster JinBodhi's channel, and let's all become a good fan. In China, they call YouTube, they say, well, it's just a translation of 油管 means YouTube. And so go to YouTube and subscribe to Grandmaster JinBodhi's YouTube channel and watch Master's teachings on YouTube. Why should we do that? Because eventually we will start to do YouTube Facebook Live. So the day after tomorrow, that would be our first YouTube Live, and Master will lead us chanting. On Facebook, there will not be any live broadcast anymore. So go to YouTube, and you can click on a link and go to the YouTube channel. And so our YouTube fans, let's learn once more how to become a fan of Grandmaster JinBodhi's YouTube channel. So first of all, enter that YouTube and download the YouTube app on your mobile phone. Look at this red with the triangle there. That's the right sign for YouTube. And then you go to YouTube, and then you click on the magnifier icon and search for Grandmaster JinBodhi. And then you'll see Grandmaster JinBodhi's picture. And that's Grandmaster JinBodhi's YouTube channel. And then you click that. So click on the red subscribe button. Make sure you click on the subscribe button. So the red button will turn into gray, which means you already subscribed. And if there are any good videos or any notifications or posts, then you don't need to try to find it. And you just go to the subscribe channel, and it would be very easy for you to find Grandmaster JinBodhi's videos. After you subscribed, and remember to click on the bell icon to turn on notifications. So if there are any good teachings in our Grandmaster JinBodhi's YouTube channel, our mobile phone or our computer will get notifications, and so we will not miss those. And I'd like to remind you, especially our fans in Chinese mainland, when you subscribe the YouTube channel, they ask you to have a Gmail account. So you just follow the instructions to register a YouTube account. Once you have that account, then when you are watching Grandmaster's teaching, then you can leave comments and, interact. When you are watching Grandmaster JinBodhi's video, there's a very good function. Say, for example, this is one of the teachings. And now we have the timelines. And so you can click on the, that triangle, and then you find the time. Okay, so at 5 minutes and 30 seconds, and then you click on the blue timeline, and then the video will jump to that time and time spot, and then you can directly watch that part. And another good thing about this is that the related teaching can be shared more easily. Say, for example, Master talking about no spoiling, and then you suddenly saw, my friend or grandparents, they spoil the child too much, and then you can share that part to the grandparents, so they don't have to search for that part of the teaching in the 2 hours of teaching. So this timeline function is very, very easy to use. And so in Master's teaching, there are many good stories, and our team actually has made them into many short teachings. If you go to Master JinBodhi's YouTube channel, you would see many of these teachings, like the carpenter story or, the wood bowl story. They are very educational, and it's a good story to hear, and it's good for us to contemplate too. And it's a very short story, and now we have already separated them so that you can easily listen to them and share. And if your friend likes them, then they can also subscribe to Grandmaster JinBodhi's channel, and they can learn more from Grandmaster JinBodhi. So this is what we are telling all our friends on Facebook. Make sure you go, when you after this live teaching, then you need to subscribe, because next teaching on Friday will be on YouTube. Okay, thank you, Joyce. So next we're going to tell a story about the very famous Black Widow. This lady's name is Mu Dao Jiamiao. She's a Japanese, and this lady was born in 1975. She's a real person. So this year she is 45, and she's the eldest child in the family. From childhood, she was not very fit, and she was not very beautiful, and so that's why, she was called like dinosaur. And you can imagine if a girl was called dinosaur, she's not very pretty. And so this Black Widow, Mu Dao, from 2008, she went to the website for finding, boyfriends. She has more than 10 different names, and she will change into different names and with different careers and different positions. What is she doing? She went to those websites. Usually she tried to find a man who is more, is older and has a little bit of financial power. And those people who hasn't get married, a lot of times older men, they haven't get married. Maybe they're not very good at socializing, and they are very, so basically is a man who is older and richer, and so she always choose those men. So once she found a company staff called 四田孝郎, 53 years old. So 四田孝郎 is the name of that man. And the 80-year-old retired man, An Tian Xiuteng, and a 40-year-old company staff, Da Jing. And she formed a love affair, a relationship with all these men, and successfully she borrowed a lot of money from all these three men, and therefore she has a lot of money. She started to live a very luxurious life. She would wear very expensive clothes and use expensive cars. But these three men, within 2 or 3 years, very strangely, they died, one after another. It's not a very normal death. That 53-year-old Si Tian and the 80-year-old An Teng, their dead body was found in their family. The 40-year-old Da Jing was found in a parking lot in the car. These three men's deaths, through the investigation of the police, they all died of carbon monoxide. The carbon, when they are born, if they do not open the window, sometimes, then they would emit a kind of carbon monoxide. And if you breathe in too many carbon monoxide, then people can die. And so all these three men died of carbon monoxide poison. And all these three men sent 17.5 billion Japanese yen to that Black Widow. And the 80-year-old man died from fire. And on that exact date, this Black Widow withdrew 1.88 million Japanese yen. And this Da Jing, this 41-year-old Da Jing, he gave $4.5 million, and all of those money disappeared. And then they found the relationship between them. How did they discover the connections between these cases? It actually should date back to 1980 something. It was in the parking lot. This 41-year-old Da Jing was found committing suicide to burn the carbon and die from the carbon monoxide. But in this case, they found that there are lots of suspicious things. It's not just a middle-aged man that commits suicide. There are a lot of different findings that was very suspicious. And so the police found that this Da Jing used to have an affair with the Black Widow. And so the police found this Mu Dao, who is the Black Widow, are actually having this love affair with more than 5 men. How energetic she is to have this love affair with more than 5 men. Well, actually, it's very hard even to manage all 5. Well, Master, I can't help ask. You said that she was not a very pretty girl, right? How can she have such a charm to attract so many men to love her? That's a good question. Well, usually, sorry, in order for our young friends to understand better, I have some, examples. Maybe, between between man and woman, usually love stories is for handsome man and beautiful girl because they are beautiful or handsome, and then they tend to have a love affair. If they're not pretty, if they're very ugly, you don't want to watch a movie like that, right? So in our daily life, if the girl is very beautiful, then men would like to you spend more or give more so that they can win her love. And if you look at some of the stories, those who break into other people's family, those ladies are always very attractive, very beautiful. But this Black Widow, how does she look like? Have we prepared her picture? Well, maybe we can show everyone her picture. Can you find the picture? You can just find slowly. If she's not very pretty, what kind of, charm that can attract men? What we have heard, notice that, she can write very good handwriting because her father used to work as an office staff, and so she started to practice handwriting from childhood. Her father's handwriting was very famous, and this lady also had very good training on the handwriting. This Mu Dao, this Black Widow, is also has very good handwriting, very beautiful handwriting. And even more attractive is that her mother is a piano teacher, so she can also play very good piano. Playing piano very well. These two abilities made her, very attractive in those two parts. And the third one is that she can cook very well. She's very good at cooking. Her mother is a very good chef. Her mother is a very wonderful chef. As a housewife, she can cook all kinds of dishes. And so this lady has been trained from childhood to learn cooking. And so the next one is that she is very good at using social media to create her image. Well, she already has, now you can see her picture. This is that Black Widow Mu Dao, Jia Miao. She looks like this. I've already searched for her information. She is 1.55 meters high and 105 kilograms. Wow. very heavy. You see, she has such a figure, and you see her face too. Well, if you comment on the face, maybe from 1 to 4, you would rate her as 4, maybe. But she has attracted many men from middle age to old ones. And she's very caring and tender and very caring and loving small animals. And she's very good at talking and will make you feel that she's not gossiping at all. She would make you feel that she's very loving, but she doesn't say much. And whenever she says something, she sounds very high level. And so all the men who knows her, they would think that this is a very graceful, very nice girl, and very gentle girl. All the men would comment like that. And so that's why, well, all those middle-aged or older men their dreamed wife are like this. And also you mentioned that she's very good at cooking, so she can also she cooks very well, so she can attract the man's stomach too. And so a man once made a joke with me, and he said, "Oh, Master, I can cook very well." And I said, "How can you cook so well?" And he was even cooking better than the restaurant chef. Oh, she. And so she said, actually, in order for me to attract the man, my mother told me, if you want to catch their heart, first catch their stomach. Oh, I'm sorry. I actually, disclose that secret to all of you. Well, it's not right or wrong. If you truly care about your husband and cook good food for your husband, you are a good wife. But this Mu Dao, this black widow, she used all these basic skills to do something bad. She was very good at cooking, and she was very smart. Her IQ and EQ are both very high. So she was a very high level, in that whoever she meets, she will always say the words that really please this person. And you would think, oh, this Miss Mu Dao is so kind, so nice. It's almost like a bodhisattva, but she doesn't look like a bodhisattva. But the men all think that she's so pure, she's so kind, she's so nice, she's so loving. And so combining, good cooking, very gentle and tender and loving, and she had been trained to be about all her etiquette. So she's very polite, and she says everything very appropriate. And she doesn't say much, but everything she says is all very comfortable. So all men who even without seeing her, whenever they see something she wrote, they would be attracted by her. They would fall in love with her. And so she designed a lot of traps. And whoever would read her writings would fall in love with her. I don't know how many people who has read her writings. Maybe they're short or maybe they're long. After you read after a week, then you will fall in love with her. When you get close to her, the man would think you will definitely want to marry her. You feel like, what a treasure. And so all the men will determine to marry her. and she's very, capable. And when people find her, and then they put her into prison. In the Japanese prison, I don't know the prisons in Hong Kong or in Canada or in US, but in Japan, they can go online and they can even have their, they can have their own posts. And so in the prison, they're very humane. And in prison, she continued to lure other men. Not only she wrote a fiction novel, and every day she would post her creations and her, her emotions. You would never be able to imagine that she can even write all the poems about what she feels. She continues to post and continues to catch man's heart. And when she was in the prison, she was already sentenced to death, but she continued to catch man. And soon after she was put to prison, there was a 60-year-old man, Mr. Tu Jing. Well, this name is strange. That man is already 60-year-old, double the age of this girl, and so this man determined to marry her. And even the girl is already in prison, this man wants to marry her, and they registered their marriage. I can't imagine, I can't understand the man's heart. Well, it's not the man is strange, it's this lady, this black widow is very powerful. She can be a man to attract girls. Well, in the relationships, there are bad men and there are bad ladies too. She's in the prison. How can the man imagine? And she can even pretend and, design her image as very attractive and pure. Well, if you say that, let me explain like this. Why in Buddhism, our cultivation, we say cultivate our heart. We very rarely would say cultivate our behavior. So the behavior is not that important, but the heart is the most important. If your heart is kind, then the whole world is peaceful. But if your heart is malicious, then everything you do will be harmful. And if your heart is full of love, the whole world, you would see they're all flowers. How can you hurt them? But when your heart is malicious, you see the flowers are like all the rabbits that you want to catch. And so your heart determines all your behavior. And therefore, this black widow Mu Dao, her malicious, when the judge is judging her, she almost confused the judge. And the judge would almost think that she's like an angel. She is making everybody confused. You don't even know which sentence is true and which is a lie. And so this Mu Dao has completely changed my, conception of those ladies who can harm people. Like Zhao Feiyan, she was too pretty or beautiful. That's why she has that attraction to man that can harm people. But for this Mu Dao, she's not pretty at all. But she can have such a, powerful, I can't say it's a charisma. I would say it's an evil power that really would make the man completely lost. 2 or 3 years ago, I think there's a Li Xiaoming always, would pretend to be like a very beautiful girl, but always slander, because her heart is with evil thoughts. And so whenever she says something, she has a human form, but in her heart is like a poisonous snake. When she sees everything, she wants to kill, she wants to bite, she wants to take it. And I saw the documents about those men who were cheated, and a few of them have been killed. But some of them, they are very willingly to be kind to Mu Dao and even say good things about Mu Dao. And then they said, oh, this Mu Dao, all the food she make is full of love. She make food with all her heart. Everything she say is from her heart. She truly want to marry me. And so she, wow. So there's a saying, when someone is, she's full of malice and evil thoughts, and when the body and mind is all evil and malicious, then she becomes a complete monster, and everything she says sounds very beautiful and lovely, but all the purpose is for kill, for harm her spirit. Well, this black widow is even worse and evil than those snake or poisonous snake. A Japanese man was chasing this Mu Dao. She was sick and already put into hospital, and he even asked his children to send money to Mu Dao. Well, before, we haven't, we have already heard stories like that, but you probably ignored this. You always think that those kind of ladies must have like an angel face, beautiful face, and very beautiful figure. And it's because of her beauty. But maybe you have forgot the first monster, the white-bone demon in the journey to the west. And so the first, she turned into a young and beautiful lady. And so she pretended to be very pure, very even naive and beautiful. But the Monkey King has the divine eye, so he can see that, oh, this is a monster, it's a demon. But then, the piglet is actually says, well, I would rather die. And those demons actually are looking for your life, for your meat. And so that white-bone demon also turned and transformed into an old man. And so it's like, oh, I'm an old man, I'm so weak, and you still want to kill me? And so all of a sudden, then he turned into an old lady. And, the face is not beautiful at all. It's an old lady with wrinkles, and he's from the countryside. So remember that? She doesn't need to be pretty. And so the next two, forms are more pity, and so more easier for people to be cheated. And so they seem to be no harm, an old lady or the old man. So you won't think that this old lady will harm the family, or they have no risk, no danger. You think that those people who seemingly having no harm and no danger or no risk, and are they truly having no challenge to you? Do you think that all? And before, sometimes there are people, they pretend to be a fool, but when they want to kill, they, every bullet they kill. And whenever they see, and then after they kill, then they pretend to be a fool again. When someone can pretend to be two or even more different forms, then they are like, it's because of their evil thoughts in their heart. They're completely a demon, a monster. And well, they have already killed one, and then she already killed one, and then she doesn't care if she killed more. When she was put into prison, she continued to entice people, and she doesn't care if she can kill more. So then you can see this is really like a monster, a demon. That really shows her evil nature. So her heart is very malicious and she's a monster. So our friends online, wow, this is very shocking. Such a teaching. It's very, and so that really helps us to realize that what shows to be beautiful in our life can be ugly, and it can maybe be harmful. And now also, even ugly things can be harmful. So they ask Master, how can we distinguish? How can we know their truth? Okay, gradually we'll get there. So this is a cultivation. It's not like one teaching or one sentence I can already teach you. I'm also in my learning process. I'm just using my feelings, my senses. I want to use my impression to see, after 10 years, maybe she or he will turn into a bad person. A lot of times, it actually has been proved to be true. Like 10 years ago, I thought, after 10 years, in these 10 years, I would love them, I would care for them. But after 10 years, they would forget about all these good things and love and kindness. They would bite you, they would hurt you. And so in our family precepts, I would like to remind you to be able to see the true nature of that person, and also to distinguish good and bad for everything that happens. And so you'll be able to know their virtues. Usually, when there's nothing happens, you can't see. And if you have a cold, or if you cut your finger, and so someone comes to care about you and pretend to care about you, this is not truth. What is real truth? One important point is that when there's a disaster, then you would see the truth. Well, some young people would say, I haven't experienced any, real challenges or disasters or calamities. And so I would suggest not to give your whole heart to someone. Am I teaching you not to be a genuine person? So Christine say, oh, I remember my grandparents used to tell me, don't harm others, but always be careful and protect yourself. Well, yes, that is true. To have a heart to protect ourselves is because we have been cheated too much and we need to protect ourselves now. Just now, we told some stories about feeding the chickens and go fishing and feed the pigs and the story of the bull. And all these stories, they give you good things. They all want to make you become their food. And so some people, they're gentlemen. They're very direct. So they seem to be very emotional. Whether you do something, they will tell you directly, oh, no, this is not good. Maybe they will be reminded, like, oh, be careful, say something gentler, otherwise they will get angry. So very clever people, they would think about many elements, many factors, and they try not to criticize at all. And so those are normal, clever people. So a lot of people are quite cunning, and so they are very, what we say. So they are very like a worldly wise. And so they have the art of dealing with people, sort of. But they are very likely to becoming those not very good people. But those frank people, it's very hard to deal with them, but they never do anything behind you. These kind of people are usually good person. But sometimes we consider them bad because they would criticize you. And all of those criticisms sometimes are very helpful to us. Very clever people will not tell you and will not criticize you. And if you do something wrong, I will correct the mistake, and then I'll report it to the boss, and so you'll be dismissed. But the frank people, when he saw you made the mistake, they really worry that you'll be dismissed. So they will criticize you. They will even scold you. And these are real friends. I'm that kind of person. And so if you treat me truly and kind, then I'll treat you well. And if you're not too heartedly towards me, then I don't have time to deal with you. The second kind of person, that they don't always tell the truth. They are... they always want to, they don't tell the truth. They always say pleasing words. Even though you did something wrong, then he would say, oh, it's just because your strength is not here. And you would say, oh, you have your own characteristic. The boss is not very qualified. He cannot value you. You are the dragon among all. This employer cannot match you. This temple is too small. You are a grandmaster. And so he would praise you until you completely confused. And maybe you would even, quit the job. And
这些
if
都
you
是我们油条的
always
行为。
if someone always says something that please you, it's not very good.
所以刚才我的举例说，人家为什么给你好吃的？
They will say this is like
人
an
家为什么
apple polish.
这个时候来赞美你？
Why they always praise you at this time?
人家为什么这个时候来
Why
保护你？
they protect you at this time?
你们的关系没那么好，为什么今年你过生
You
日
don't have a good
给了你
relationship.
一个很重
But
很贵的礼物？
Why this year on your birthday they give you a very
这个
expensive
礼物
present?
是不是叼住螃蟹的
You need to
螃蟹
think,
啃的那个鸡腿儿？
Is this present
大鱼
actually
要咬
that
的那个
chicken
肉
leg?
它那个蚯蚓，
Is
那个
that
虫子
worm that they are
你是不是
giving as the bait
那条
to
傻鱼
to
和那
catch
个
the
傻螃
fish?
蟹？
Are you that silly fish or that silly crab?
I
过
told
去
the
我们讲过
concept
一个
before.
很简单的概念，
If
叫做
nothing
无事
happens
献
and
殷
they
勤，
give you
非
praise,
奸即盗。
why? If you guys just have a
平白无
normal
故他为什
relationship,
么还要赞美你？
they can just give you a birthday card, and that's already
你
very
们是一
good
个普通的
colleague.
关系，
Why
今
do
天
they
你过
give
生
you
日
an iPhone?
他给你送一张纸片，写几个字就不错了。
Why would
这
you
算
give
很够
you
意思的
a
同事，对
very
不对？
expensive gift?
为什么他会送你
Why
iPhone？
would they give you a scarf worth over 100 US dollars? You need to think
为
about
什么
why.
会送你
Is this
超
a
过100
bait?
美金的一条漂亮围巾？
Is that
为什么？
is it a piece of meat on top of the bait?
这个是不是诱饵？
Will you be killed?
是不是陷阱上面那块肉？你会不会被猎杀？有人听我这么讲说。
When someone hears me to say this, they might ask, why would they want to kill me? I don't worth anything.
不像杀老虎和野
It's
猪一样
not-
把你杀掉来吃肉。
It's not like a human killing wolves or boars. They want to
不
use
你
you.
会成为他的枪，
Or maybe you will become that person's gun. Or that you will become that person's poison to kill others.
所以
So,
黑寡妇的故事我还没讲完。
I haven't finished with the Black Widow story.
黑寡妇找了另外一
Let's
个
come
男
back
人
to the Black Widow story. So this Black Widow finds another man who fall
这个
in
人
love
哈
with her.
等于是继承了父亲的遗产。
This man has inherited money from his father when his father
这个人
passed
是个
away.
宅男，
And
是
this
不是
man
宅男，对不对？
is about 40 years old and he mainly stays home.
好像这个人他继承遗产
Master is the
继承遗产
guy
呢继承遗产之后呢
who
就
inherited
就爱上他了，他们俩搬在
money?
一起住了。
Yes, this guy moved in with
哎，
the Black
有一天这
Widow.
个男人的
And
姐姐
one day, this
来看
man's
望他
sister,
弟弟嘛，
older sister, came to see her little
去了
younger
到了他家
brother.
之后，
And when the
他
sister
弟弟本来
came,
是个宅男，
so
这个
this
男人
man
哈弄那个屋里
is
头哈乱七八
is a
糟
guy that stays home a lot and he doesn't go out. And he used to, his room used to be very
那个书扔的到处都是，
dirty.
那个袜子也是满天飞，
that
我就是这个样子。
Dirty clothing are everywhere, dirty dishes are everywhere, and garbage are everywhere. And he's an introverted man who stays at home. So when his sister came to visit him, she was very surprised of how clean the home is. And then the man introduced the Black Widow to his sister and told his sister how good this woman is, how beautiful the Black Widow is, how caring the Black Widow is. So this man has lacked his mother's love in his childhood. And once the Black Widow found out about this information, she gave this man a lot of motherly love. And so this man felt that he's found love. And this man wasn't able to distinguish the difference between motherly love and a serious love. The man's sister called the man over and told him that this is not a good woman. It's impossible for such a woman to fall in love with you so quickly. this is,
我有疑惑，
I have suspicion about it.
你们就
What did the man say? The man said that you despise me. You don't want me to find a good woman.
我告诉你，
You are just looking at her appearance and not her heart.
只是他
I want you to know that she is a true angel. She is a bodhisattva. The heaven is unfair to her that she is not beautiful. But she is a true bodhisattva.
是一个大慈大悲的女人，
She is full of compassion. You don't know how good she is to me.
把姐姐给用脚给踹出去。
And so the man kicked his sister out of the door.
晚上对着姐姐
And
打架，把姐姐
The man
打得
also
快
went
弟
to
弟这么疯狂，
his
就说明这个女人
sister's home
攻击太
and
强烈，这个软
and
刀
be-
太锋利了。
and kicked down his sister's door.
但是用这个
And
姐姐
the
的嘴巴
sister
没办法
understood that this black widow is changing her brother, but she doesn't know how to
没有
save her brother.
痴迷了。
The man has lost all his reasoning. He
你
is
说他一点儿不好，我
he is confused. No one can say any bad thing about the Black Widow. If anyone, even if it's his own sister talking bad things about the Black Widow, he doesn't allow it.
太危险
The
了。
sister knew that it's very dangerous, so she even called the police.
可以，可这个女人
And the
可是不
police
简单
found out that
在网络
the
上
Black
视频的
Widow
画面
has over 10 different aliases online, and she has a loving relationship with many men.
另外一种的
And
另外一种色狼。
the police know that this woman is a con artist,
的那个
and the police thought that she must be very beautiful, but then they realized that she is a very ugly fox.
对不对？
Even though she is ugly, it doesn't mean that she is not harmful.
还有三个
And
命案有
once
关
they
系
dig into the past, the Black Widow's past, they found that she is related to 3 different murder cases,
将他逮捕
and she was immediately arrested by the Tokyo police.
找出来了。
And
那个
after her arrest,
和火炉
they
都买
found
好了，
they
有可
found
能就是3天以内
they found
他弟弟
coal
又成了他的
and a fire burner in the man's
更加
house.
惊险了。
If the police didn't find this, the man could have died in a matter of days.
他至少杀死了
And
3
at
个
that
人
time,
等等这些
this
罪行
woman
是
has already
干尽
been
天良
sentenced.
人家这位死不要脸的妖怪，还
Even
在
after
网
she
络的
was
勾引
put
诱惑
into,
又是小写
even after she was
也想说
jailed,
就是
she continued to
弄
publish
卖弄了他的风险
blogs online
还
and
让
cheat
好几
other
个大
men.
人追进监狱了还是
And many men came to the jail and asking her to marry her. She is such a crazy,
就这个不是
crazy
那个妖
woman.
精钻进了内心，她就是妖精，是害人精。并
She
且
is
我
she is
帮
very
你看
harmful.
我一定要取你的性命，这是最阴毒的。
And she
一般的
wants
骗子说
to
你个钱就不错了。
Some con artists just wants your money, but she not only wants the money, but she also wants your life.
凶险了，
Isn't it very
就
dangerous?
看似好的，
So
对
what
你来
seems
了安慰来了，
like a good thing,
对你的善
what
良
seems
来
like a
了
prophet, what seems like kindness,
八方吹不动之中的，
this is one of the worldly winds. This is a wind of compassion and love.
全都扛不
So all the men that she
全都
dealt
死
with,
于她那个烂裙子下，
they all died. They all died
都成了无名之鬼。
underneath her skirt. They all become ghosts.
这是真人真事。
And this is a true story.
上网查看
You can all go online and check it out.
他的中文翻译的名字叫木岛佳
Her
苗
Chinese name is 木岛佳苗. She's just about 40 years old.
你以为看起有多高级的手段，但是
You would
最
think that
基
she
本的
would
手
have
段
very
迷惑一
good
个普通
skills,
男人叫做
but she has just used basic skills
所以
to
他们长得
allure
女人稍微长得
ordinary
年
men.
轻一点就是大
What
家
about
都
other women who are
知道
even younger and more
这
beautiful?
些妖精不吃人，
Some people might say, be cautious. Some beautiful women might not
所以看
be
似
so
好的
evil, but this woman is very evil. So what you see as good is it really
给你
good?
带来了母爱，
Why would she care for you like a
有没有
mother?
什么资格
What do you have so that she takes good care of you? Why?
所有飞来的幸运的事情，
All the good luck.
所以我提醒大家，先当做不幸的
Let
事
me
情。
remind you, all the good luck that befalls on you, seize it as something unfortunate.
不必要
At least this way, it will help you to decrease the amount of harm or loss.
可怕吗？
This is very scary, right?
所以我们怎么选择朋友呢？
So how should we choose friends?
所以希望是学着观察。
I hope that everyone learns to observe.
他人突然对你好，你一定
If
想
this
为什么
person suddenly becomes very nice
我
to
说
you,
这个
you
事
have
情
to think
不是
of
我
why.
讲的话
It's
我
not
学
me
佛的过
being
程之中，
very cunning or being sly. During my study of Buddha's Dharma, I'm always questioning, I always ask why. And that has helped me to study it until today.
开始给二
六祖
祖传法的
慧能
时候，他们的第
When
一个打坐的
he started to learn Buddha
第一个
Dharma,
打坐修行的
the
问题
first
就是
question that he faced
我是谁？
is, who am I?
第二个问题
The
就是谁
second question is, who is
第
meditating?
三个问题
The third question
你疯了，你为啥打坐？
is, are you crazy? Why do you meditate?
第四个
The
和
fourth
信念
question is,
都是与
are you?
这个概念有关系。
All four questions are related
修佛法的
to
好处就是
yourself.
一定要不能
So
蒙
the
混过去
benefit of studying Buddha Dharma is that we cannot cheat ourselves.
打得像疯子一样瞎蒙出一个
We cannot
来
just
佛
create
法的究竟就是说
in Buddha's
究
Dharma.
竟这件事情的真相。
We go to the depths to find the truth. Who is meditating?
哎，你对我好，你
You are
对
very
我
nice
像
to me.
傻子一样，你为啥对我好？
You don't need
别这么
to
傻
ask,
子
you don't need to
你自己
ask the
呢
other
回
person
家先不要睡觉
straight
自己
out.
思考2个小时，为啥？
Maybe go home and don't sleep and think about it for 2 hours.
当然你也
Why
不要
is
说
he
这
being
个
so
毁灭
nice?
人性和变态
And
之
of
说
course,
对
you
我
don't
好
have
一
to
定要
question
好
all
别
human
不能
nature
这
to
么
say
想
that
事情
everyone
这
who's
样
nice
走
to
向
me
同
wants
一
to
个极
kill
端
me.
走向另外一个
Then
极
you
端
are just
我们人
walking
生就没有
on
自
from
由
streams
首
from
先我
one
先宣
extreme
布
to another.
人间是有真情在
First, I have to say that there are true love
哪
on
一
earth.
见哎有一种
When a
喜
man
啊
sees a
可能
woman,
产生爱情
there is
还有呢
there
女人
could
见
be
女人
true
说哎
love.
我怎么这么看她这么亲切
When
啊
a
有
woman
没有这个
sees
情
a
况
woman,
觉得你有过吗
have you see
肯定有
other women and
但是
feel
这个
that,
不是爱
oh,
情就是一种
this person
很
feels
一
so
见就有一种
familiar?
眼缘
When you look at
心
this
相印的一
person,
种
you
熟
feel
悉感
that
对不对
this person is very familiar, and when you talk to each other,
对
you
就是
feel
这样容
very
易成为好朋友
you feel like you can like each other, and you guys will become very good friends.
女人
And
有
in life, we
男人也
need
有
good friends, and it's the same for men and women. Are these feelings
当然每个人不一样
fake? No,
所以你今天看这人
but the
说一
degree
见
of
钟
feeling
情
is
实际上
different.
是
Some
每个
people
女
will
人也
fall
遇
in
到这样的
love
女朋友
at
对不对
first sight.
没有叫非分的关系就是好朋友
And
对不对
even for women,
但是
even if you
有的
don't
好朋友说
have a
你
love
跟你赔
relationship,
钱
you
了
can
给我
fall
烂了
into a
倾家荡产
friendly
了他来
relationship.
帮你还有一
And
种说
when
倾家
you're
荡产了
when
不
you
是
have difficulty, they
这
will
个一
come
定
and
会有
help you. But other
所以就是
friends,
你没有
other
发生这
friends
些恶
are
劣
fair
悲剧的
weather
时候
friends. They will leave you in
他
time
们
of
对你的
difficulty.
爱和情感都同样都挺真挚的
When there's no difficulty in ordinary time, they're all
你觉得这个
very
人经
they
常
all
是
seem very nice to
精神
you.
不太好说话太大
And some people at ordinary times, you feel that this person is very is not very kind, they're very cold toward you. But maybe in the time of the difficulty, this very cold person is the one that supports you to the end. And the person who seems very nice to you, they might be the fair weather friend that deletes your phone number right away before difficult comes to test us. We might not know the truth of this person. When difficulty comes, maybe out of 10 friends, only one will remain. But that's okay. Even the good feelings, the good time that you guys have gone through, that's all destiny. Although you guys are doing very good relationship today, they might not help you in the future. Today, we are in Canada. Say that if you want to go to a country that's very far away, there's no direct flight. What would you do? Maybe you take a bus first, and then take a flight, and then ride on a carriage, or even ride a bike. On every path on life, we all have different accompanies. Also, everyone I see are very... When I look at someone, I feel that we have fate. And maybe you can become my friend or my disciple. Even when I go shopping, sometimes I will see a shop owner that seems to have faith with me, and I might become a loyal customer. Even with such relationship, I don't feel that I need to go to that person in time of difficulty. But it's just that at this time, we can have a good relationship. There's no other, I don't seek other needs or feedbacks. Today, we are talking about getting to know a person and seeing the good and bad in things. To be able to understand a person, if this person is truly nice and truly good to you, what do we need to, how do we do this? We need to use things that happens to judge a person and to see, and also to see if this person talks behind your back. If this person talks about you behind your back, maybe you will be surprised to hear what they say. Let me tell you a story. It seems very late. Do you want to hear more? I have many bad stories. I don't want to tell you the story. I've forgotten about the story already. Today, there are many bad stories. I feel that only when we understand the bad stories, then we can cherish the good stories. And also to distinguish when a good thing happens, we need to use an issue to see through a person. When you're truly in difficulty, when you really need help, is that person really good to you? I have used these methods to test people out. I don't want to tell you the story, and the things that I have gone through is not suitable for this class. For example, there is a government official I know. When he has difficulty, the secretary that was very nice to him ran away from him. But he didn't realize that one of the drivers that he helped before, the driver that he didn't fire, this driver came back to save the government official's life. He said that I never thought about that this person knows that I'm in danger and he would come back to save me. And he even used his father's fishing boat to help me to get out of that situation. This happened a very long time ago, and he was a high government official. You can see the true relationship in times of difficulty. But for some young people, you might not be in a difficulty, and you might not be able to see the true relationship. There are some friends are just fair weather friends. These are your party friends that you guys can party together, eat together, have dinner together, or socialize together. These activities are meaningful and not meaningful. There might be true friends in there, but most of these friends might just be fair weather friends. When I was young, one of my friends, he is a very smart student, and he is a very honest and positive person. He is my friend, and his name is Yu.
认识个朋友叫小张，
And Yu has another friend called Zhang.
小张呢是个小偷。
Zhang is a thief.
我的朋友叫小鱼，
My friend is
小
Yu,
鱼有一个朋友
remember.
叫小张。
And Yu has his own friend. That friend's name is Zhang, and Zhang is a thief.
机关的
So one day, Zhang went to the government office and stole some things.
随钱之类的，
And
他就拿去花。
Zhang took all the money and went to spend it. And Zhang also stole a piece of equipment. And I think it was a piece of communication
一起拿回家去，
equipment.
他爸会揍。
And so Zhang was a child, and he didn't want to bring the equipment home, so
就把偷来的
he doesn't want his father to find out.
就放在小鱼
So
家
Zhang
先放在你们家去。
Zhang gives the equipment to Yu and said that just hold on it to me,
东西一定是
hold on
我
this
们都知道他。
equipment for me.
小鱼还跟我
So
说，去小鱼家，
I went to Yu's house and saw the equipment. Yu told me that Zhang stole this piece, and we don't know what this does. There were many buttons and many knobs.
反正就一个。
We don't know what it is. It's just a box for us.
我说你干嘛让他放？
I asked him, why do you agree to keep it for him? He stole it.
朋友啊，
Yu says that we're good friends.
我说可能不好。
I told him that it might not be a good thing, and Yu's mother is also home. And so I told Yu's mother said that it's not good to keep stolen goods in your house. What if the police come?
哎呀，
The mother said that it's okay, he's just a kid.
偷点东西，警察
Even if he steals something, the police will not arrest him.
说话呢，
Why would the mother say this?
回头说回来，
When we think
这个
back,
小偷经常会老奶奶喜欢的东西，比如说吃饭炒菜的油，提两瓶来。
Zhang always brings Yu's mother something good, like cooking oil or
他妈妈那个度数，他问好了之后，
or eyeglasses. And Zhang will give these things to Yu's mother. And when Zhang visits Yu's family, he is very good-mannered, and he is a very handsome young man.
又经常给他们家给
And he gives Yu's family a lot of gifts. And so Yu and Yu's parents all like Zhang very much. But they didn't realize 3 days later, the police came and arrested Yu, and
坐牢2年，
they charged Yu for possession of stolen goods. And
给他什么
Yu
罪状？
was
是同伙。
put into the jail for 2 years.
小偷的东西总要有地方去销赃啊，去
So
消化掉它。
the police says that
你是来帮他销
all
赃的
thief has to sell their stolen goods. And the police says that Yu is a person that helps the thief to sell the stolen goods.
现在大家应该
And so they arrested Yu. Now you can think about why
小
this happened.
非常的聪明，
Zhang is
而
very
且很
smart, and he is very bad.
故意提前设这个
He intentionally
不是为了害
made
小
a
鱼
trap.
绝对不是为了害小鱼。
He doesn't want
他做一
to
个落脚点
he doesn't want to harm Yu, but he just wants a person
还以为他
to help him and to think that he is a good child. He was premeditative to treat Yu's family
可是
and
等他孩子抓进
very
监狱
well.
坐牢的时候，
and when Yu was charged and jailed,
就骂这个小张，过去抡着拳头去打呀，警察打。
Yu's mom starts to cry and blame Zhang that
这个时候后悔晚了。
and she regrets. The police is just laughing. Who is
警察要怀疑
who
一
is
切才可以。
helping who? Have you even helped Zhang to get rid of his stolen goods? The police said that don't hit Zhang, don't beat up Zhang. You guys are all the
我
same.
想你也是占人便宜啊！啊，弄老花镜，弄那
You
油
were taking
还是偷点菜
you were
给
taking
你
advantage of
差
Zhang
点
anyways,
孝顺
right?
孩子
You all agree that Zhang is a very good child, right? Why would he be so nice to you?
所以飞来的好处，
These
飞来的灾难。
these gains that falls down from heaven, these are devastations too. Yu's parents, they are already middle-aged. Don't they have any experience in life? They know. They know that Zhang is a thief, right? They know that when Zhang brings these things to their home, did you ask Zhang's mom if Zhang's mom knows about these things? They don't. They live very close to each other. Why would they keep their eyes closed? So Yu's family wasn't very wealthy, and they have no idea of the danger behind it. And so Yu, the very honest child, was jailed for 2 years, and after so many years, he is still single, and he was not able to get married. And after Yu was jailed for a month, Yu's parents all their hairs turned white. When the police came to arrest, they found the stolen goods in Yu's house, and these goods belongs to the government. So through things that happen, especially through difficult things, through things that looks very bad, you can start to observe people. Then you can see the true manner, you can see the true moral and virtue of a person. We need to pursue for a person's moral and virtue. If you just look at a person, look at their superficial wealth, or look at how good they can talk, it's not right. Remember, if something good happens and you don't know why, maybe it's a disaster. So, if it's not yours, don't take it. Don't think that you are gaining a profit from something small or big. Even if a small profit might be a disaster, what if it's a large profit? Maybe that large profit is even a bigger disaster. When someone is very nice to us, you have to think, why does that person love me? Why is that person nice to me? Why is he praising me? Why does he give me a non-expensive gift? You have to ask why. You have to think cautiously. Today, our topic is that we don't want to be harmed by bad people. The evil spirits, they might be beautiful, they might be ugly, they might be young, they might be old. Remember when we talked about facial features, there was a female murderer. She murdered her husband and tried to get the insurance, the life insurance of her husband. There are many bad people with a bad heart. And they might be even, they're worse than wolves and dogs. Dangerous people are more dangerous than animals. Let me tell you another story from the ancient times. 2,000 years ago, in the time of the Chinese warring period, there is a king. His name is Qi Wei, and the kingdom is called Qi. He has a minister. The minister name is Zhou Ji. Zhou Ji,
叫走
the prime minister of Qi.
他对自己的容貌
So
在
Zhou Ji cares a lot about his
还
looks.
是挺帅气，
He
英俊帅气
is a very handsome man.
啊。在这个，所以来说的话，这个走进今天的这个身材高度，
If
可
Zhou
能
Ji
有一米
was living today,
在过去
his height is probably over 182 centimeters. In the ancient times, there wasn't a lot of good food, and so
但他长相特别好看。
his height is very
今天你如果
tall.
女妖精来看的话，
And for women today, you would think that he is very handsome and very cute.
这个走进
So one
帅
morning,
哥呢，哎，穿好了整个标准的衣服，
Zhou Ji
照了照
put
镜
on his clothes and looked in the mirror. At that time, there weren't any large mirrors, and he looked into a small mirror. And in the past, the mirrors are not clear as today. It's just
就他老婆也
a
帮他
blurry
化妆
image.
过去男人
And his wife was helping him to get dressed.
就今天国务院大臣的那个，
And so he is
所
a
以他那个穿
very
戴
high-ranked official. He is a minister. And so his clothing uniform is very complex. And his wife helped him to put it on. And after he looked in the mirror, he asked his wife, "Hey, come, compare my look to Mr. Xu.
整个齐国
Mr. Xu
非常有名的
is a very famous, handsome man in the Qi kingdom. And
他怎么比
Zhou Ji's
夫君呢？
wife loves him very much, and he says that Mr. Xu cannot compare to you at all. You are very smart and you are very handsome. Everyone likes you,
是吧？
and you are the best.
像你啊，
Mr. Xu cannot compare to you at all.
毛都比不上。
He cannot even compare to your toes.
这个周相公
And so
哎呀，晕乎的，
Zhou
特别
Ji
开心。
is very happy.
完了之后呢，
And
因
then
为他是这么高官，
Zhou Ji is
这也不是好人，
a high-ranked government official, so he has many
他
wives.
至少有3个老婆。
So he has
所以问他小
at
孩
least 3 wives. And so he asked another
你
wife,
看我
"Come,
和城北的徐相公
compare
都
me
在
to Mr. Xu, who is more handsome."
这个小三是后
So
来的
the third
又
wife,
对着大太太胆儿小啊。
the third wife is very timid, and
是吧？那是穷人家的闺女，对不对？
she is scared that if she says something wrong, she will be chased out. And so she says that
比得上你，
Mr. Xu cannot compare to you.
他是有点好看，
Although he is a little bit of handsome, but he is not as great as you are. Although he has a very good build, but he is not as bright as you are. He is just a pretty
就
face.
是说怎么今天阳光这么灿烂？
And Zhou Ji was very happy. He saw that the sun is very bright today.
第二天，
On the second day,
高官嘛，有另外一位高官来他家做客来拜，
he has a visitor.
他也问这客人，
And so he asked his guest,
老李啊，你说
Mr. Li
我这个长相
"Look at my looks. How does my look compare to Mr. Xu,
谁更英
who
俊？
looks more handsome?"
你想来拜访他的是有
So
求于他的，
Mr. Li came to his house to ask him for help.
老徐
So
比不上你
Mr. Li says that Mr. Xu cannot compare to you.
这是真的，他肯
And
定
it's
比不上
true. So Zhou Ji saw that it's true. Mr. Xu cannot compare to me at all.
照照镜子看
And
自己
Zhou Ji looked in the mirror and admired himself.
可是过了几天之后，
A few days later,
这个许大帅哥来他家来拜访
Mr.
来
Xu
了
came to visit Zhou
不
Ji.
知道是不是对方
I
被
don't, maybe
还是怎么回事
Mr.
啊
Xu
来
heard
拜访他
something,
这
so
是
he came
大
to
家
visit Zhou
一
Ji.
趟都是高官家的后人，
And Mr. Xu is also
他自己
come
感觉
from a very well-off family.
老徐这小子是帅，
And Zhou Ji looked at Mr. Xu and saw that Mr. Xu is very handsome and I'm not as handsome as he is. And so he continued to look in the mirror and he saw to himself that Mr. Xu looks better than he is. And at night, after Mr. Xu left,
睡不着觉，失眠了，
Zhou Ji couldn't sleep.
这就想这个事儿，哎，怎么我老
And he
婆
kept
原来
on
老婆
thinking,
怎么也是说我比他
my wife says that I look more handsome. My concubines feel that I look more handsome. Why? He contemplated until early morning. He is a very high-rank official, so he is very cultured, and he has a lot of education and philosophy. He is very wise. He understood. He understood that his wife loved him, and that's why she feels that I am beautiful, and that's why she praises me. My concubine lied because she is afraid of me. If she says that I am not as handsome as Mr. Xu, I might chase her away, kick her out. And Mr. Li praised me because he is a guest. He is seeking my help, so he don't dare to say that Mr. Xu is more handsome. And the second day, so Zhou Ji went into the royal palace to see the king. And he told the king that my wife, my concubine, and my guest says that I look more handsome than Mr. Xu. Then I realized that they are all lying. They all have their needs, and that's why they praise me. He understood the truth. Do you understand? So Zhou Ji told the king that in our country, there are over 120 cities. All the queens, all the royal consorts, all love the king. And all the ministers are afraid of the king. And all the citizens need the king's help. And so, king, you are being deceived by everyone. You cannot hear the truth. And so in Zhou Ji's contemplation, he told this to the king, to King Qi Wei, and Qi Wei was inspired, and Qi Wei gave an order to give a prize to everyone who gave advices to the king, so that he can know if he has made any mistakes. And as long as you give the king that advice, you will be rewarded and you will not be punished. And so the king received many advices. If a citizen doesn't know how to write, there will be people who helps them to record their advices, and you will receive money, silvers for your advice. And through this, the king was able to rule the country very well. I recommend everyone to think about this story. We have talked about this topic for over 2 hours now. Many friends are online are very happy. They feel that they have learned a lot today, and they have looked back on themselves and they are very grateful. Master, I feel that when we listen to other people's story, we feel that we can understand the stories, and we can understand how it's impossible to happen. But for ourselves, if there's such an evil person around ourselves, do we have such a clever eye to recognize such evil people? Will our mind be pure and calm when we have these, when we have greed, only when we have greed, these evil people have something to give us so that we will fall into the trap. So, to be able to see through a person's mind, why is that person nice to you? This is very important. But some people will try to hide their true intention, and they will try to deceive you with their love. I'm nice to you because you are smart, because you're handsome, because you are hardworking, or because you have morals. These are all just lies. They are all conspiracy. We have to see through the fog and see their true intention, and that is wisdom. Everyone runs into different situations. Some people are here because they don't love you, but they love your money. I know a very high-ranking government official, and his rank, he probably ranked one of the top 5 in the country. And his daughter, when his daughter is young, the daughter married the head of student council in a very good university. And this man is very smart. He can play all instruments, and he was very good at sports. He was very good at basketball, and he can step up to host a ceremony at any moment, and he can sing, and he has very good academic grades too. That's why he was the head of the student council. When my friend, this government official, when he was fired, so for example, he was number 5 in the country, and then he was his rank lowered to less than a provincial minister. And once that happened, his daughter-in-law wants to divorce his daughter. And his daughter told me personally that it's disgusting, but I want to tell you that her husband will carry her onto bed, and every night, every evening, her husband will clean her feet and put on fingernail for her. He is like a servant. It seems that he loves her so much. And when her husband suddenly changed, she couldn't take it. She wondered if she was drunk. If you love me so much, why would you? Why? And the husband smiled coldly and said that, I didn't know that your father was so wise, and yet you are so silly. I didn't marry you. I married your father. I married your father's power. If your father doesn't have any power, why do I need you? The daughter was very angry. And this happened to my friend. This is so simple. I hope that everyone learns to have time to think. Don't look at superficial signs. The Buddha said in the Heart Sutra, in the Diamond Sutra, and in many sutras, the Buddha said that don't trust. This is my understanding. Don't trust your eyes, ears, nose, tongues, or mouth. Don't trust your senses. What you sense are all superficial. You have to use your organs. You have to get rid of all your organs. Calm down. Calm down and truly perceive the truth. Because you can only sense what's beautiful, what's good for you, what you like. What you hear are all praises, gentleness, everything that you like here. People who wants to make you happy, they will show you all the good things so that you don't see the truth. In history, there is a great man, and this is the third emperor of the Ming Dynasty. His name is Zhu. He is called the Great Yongle Emperor. He was called the Great Emperor because his achievement was he achieved more than the Tang Dynasty. So after Emperor Yongle became an emperor, in his royal palace, he had many livestock in the royal palace, and he grew vegetables in the royal palace too. And one day, so he doesn't need to purchase any food from outside vendors. And so one day, a foreign diplomat gave him a very beautiful jade bowl with many gemstones, and it was a very beautiful bowl. And Yongle Emperor likes the jade bowl very much. He looked at it for an hour. He had never seen such a beautiful jade bowl. And after an hour, he suddenly woke up and he put it back into the box and gave it back to the foreign diplomat. And he also gives the diplomat many gifts. He told him that, take it back, I'm now going to keep it. Why? The diplomat asked him why. And Zhu said that, I was a farmer and I am a general. If I use a jade bowl, I might break it. I don't want to break it. And so I take it back. I don't want to break it. And I will give many gifts to your emperor. I'm a very rude person. Give me other gifts. Don't give me such fine gifts. So after the diplomat left, the ministers asked the emperor, why do you give it back? He says at first, I don't want my children to live a indulged life, because a lavish life is endless. If I feel that I already have many jade bowls in the storage already, and I don't even dare to use it. And today I find this jade bowl that's even more lavish. I want to keep my mind as a poor child, and I want to keep my lifestyle very frugal. I am the emperor already. I own all the wealth in my country. I don't need this jade. But this mind of wealth, of overindulgence is endless. And also, I don't want the other country to see what I like. In the Qin dynasty, there is a minister called Liu Luoguo, and if people bring him gift of money, he wouldn't accept it because he likes paintings and calligraphy. However, if people come and bring him a antique calligraphy or an antique painting, he would like it very much, and he would be so excited and he couldn't sleep. So the Qing tendency is about 200 years until now. And say that if you bring him a calligraphy from the Song dynasty, how much does it worth? Over 1,000 silvers. And but he couldn't take it as a gift. And so that person will sell it to him for less than 10% of what's the original price. And after he receives a gift, after he purchases the gift, he would regret it, and he would know that, oh no, I've disclosed my likings, and people will know what I like. And so the second day, he would return the painting and also take his money back. The other person would say that, I'm selling this to you. And he says that I don't want it anymore. He knows that he has disclosed his likings already. And people who want his help will try to seek his help with such things that he likes. And if there is a crack in you, people will try to get in that crack. That's your crack of life. Because you are a high-ranked official, people give you a gift. And what's the result? They are imprisoning you. So I want to remind everyone, what seems as good, what seems as very good luck, praises, gifts, be very careful. Maybe it's a disaster. When we have wisdom, our life can be more beautiful and complete. It's less likely to be harmed. People who really wants to harm you, they will not tell you even until they die. For example, the Black Widow, even though she was sentenced to death, she continues to allure men in prison. The first time she marries someone, after that the first man dies, she will immediately try to find a second man. And she continues even after she is jailed. So evil people cannot be assessed by a kind person. So what should you do? Open your eyes. Open your eyes, see through the fog, and see the truth, so that our life, our path, can be calm and safe. Okay, all the friends online, let us meet again on Friday. We have a chanting group practice on Friday. And I hope to... So on Friday at 6 p.m., we will chant for 3 days, from Friday to Sunday. And for those of you who has a wish to be fulfilled, our email is the same as before. All your needs will be printed and offered to the Buddha so that through our chanting, through our merit, we hope that you will be protected and all your wishes can come true. And starting from Friday, our live broadcast will be broadcasted on YouTube. It's easier to watch. The quality is also better. So everyone, if you don't have a YouTube account right now, sign up for an account and subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, let us meet again this Friday. Thank you.
的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，无忧有无虑。因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了，在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了。